Shrimatre Namaha. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. Today I want to discuss the topic is worthiness of karma. Let us start with prayer. Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha. The Lord is the sole judge of the worthiness of your actions, and He will decide the karma phala. The whole universe, the various parts of constituting it, the individuals means human and non-human is held together by a number of rules of action called dharma. The action of the parts and individuals is called karma. Each individual, be it a man or animal, has a swabhava or nature according which it acts. But beyond and above all these minor laws is the great dharma of the universe, which provides that certain previous karma or action must lead to certain new karma or results. This is the chain of karma, the bondage of works, which is the Hindu fate from which the Hindus seek salvation. From this understanding, karma is not so much principle of retribution as on of continuity. Good produces good, and evil produces evil. It emphasizes the importance of right action. The law of karma is not to be confused at all with either a hedonistic or judicial theory of rewards. It is just a result for your action. Also, you may notice that the Supreme Being did not initiate the action which has given you this result. It was entirely your own decision to take action in the manner you did, and you are now reaping the rewards for it. At the time of death, every individual loses his physical body only. Note it down. The subtle body called self, mean Atma, will continue. Along with the self is packaged the unrewarded punyas and papas. These punyas and papas have to produce sukham or dukkam. So, another physical body is required for that self, for that Atma. There can be no interaction with the world without a physical body, isn't it? Physical body is required for the sake of self, and there can be no interaction with the world without the physical body, and there can be no experience of sukham or dukkam, happiness or unhappiness, without interaction. Punarjanma is getting associated with a new physical body only. Mind you, the self is still the old one. It means self has not at all changed, but body only has changed. That should be known. While you experience happiness or unhappiness in the new body, the individual performs more actions and consequently acquires more punya or papa. Many of these get unrewarded and the individual gets ready for still another new body. This is called cycle of birth and death, birth and death. That is called samsara. Chakravat parivartante shukhani cha dukhani cha. This happiness and unhappiness is always rotating like a wheel of the cycle. God does not determine the type of birth or the type of experiences. Both are decided by the punya and papa. When did all this start? Let us put a question. The answer from Anadi Kala. How do you break this cycle? Another question. Only moksha will break this. Because this is a law of karma, doctrine of karma. Karma Siddhanta says this is only. You have to think about it and understand it. Claiming ignorance will not help you at all. Understanding the law of karma has some sort of advantages. It explains the differences and disparities in living beings. Why are innocent children born handicapped? Another question arises. This is because of papa. The answer. We can accept our suffering even though we have not done any mistakes in this life, in this janma. We can take the charge of our future. Our future will depend on our present actions. We understand that the world does not determine our future. Okay. God does not decide our future. Then we alone are responsible for our future. The answer to the question, why do evil fellows enjoy and good fellows suffer? The evil fellows enjoying the punya of their past life, gata janma. The good fellow is suffering due to his past papa, the sin committed in the last birth. That is recycling in this birth. We have to accept suffering as a means of exhausting the papa. But science talks about visible physical order only. Karma talks about invisible moral order. See the difference between physical and action. For this regard, we used to say fate and fatalism. What is this? The average Hindu does believe in fate, karma, destiny. The popular belief is that Lord Brahma, the creator, writes on the forehead of every being before they are sent out in this world. This leads us to think that everything in man's life has been predetermined. It cannot be wiped out. For that, a sloka is said, Harinapi Harenapi Brahmanapi Surairapi Lalata Likita Reka Parimashtum Nashakyate. What is written on the forehead cannot be wiped out either by Vishnu, Brahma or Maheshwara. This is called fatalism. Nothing is left for the man to do. In ancient India, There were some schools that believed in fatalism. One such well known sect was known as Ajivika sect. Gosala was the head of the sect. He lived during the times of Buddha, and in fact, he had many discussions with Buddha. Buddha finally moved away from him. According to Ajivakas, there is no place for free will. All human efforts is a waste of time. Every being is subject to fate and had to live accordingly. Hinduism does not support the theory that everything is preordained and you have little choice other than follow a plan laid out for you by God. There are a couple reasons for it. If everything is fixed by God and you do not have a choice in acting, then God is responsible for the actions. If you are driving a motor car and all actions are as your wish, is it? Then, in case an accident occurs, you are held responsible for the actions and the karma will follow him. But the Supreme Being is above karma. He is untainted. Every minute, a man faces lot of hurdles, difficult situations, calamities, adversities that call for his action only. The choice of which way to act as his. He has a free will. He is not dictated by God to act one way or other. He will certainly be conditioned by his own swabhava, mean nature. And once he acts, then the karma phala is also his own. He then has no control on the karma phala. Puranas tell us that Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kamsa, Duryodhana all received advice from elderly people, but they acted out of their swabhava. But they didn't listen. They acted according to their swabhava, their nature. They then received their karma phala. If Maya, means avidya, or Prakriti are all very powerful and there is no escape from them, then salvation will just remain as a dream and bondage of samsara will be eternal. Unless there is something which is free, any of these. This entity the Hindu teachings find in the Paramatma, whatever it may be. Why? He is Ishvara, and without his consent, nothing can be done. If Maya is his creation, then he alone can help us overcome it. It is the power of sanction from him that forms the element of free will in our lives. It is up to the man to either use it ignorantly or knowingly. If used ignorantly, it is succumbing to the Maya and Prakriti. If used knowingly, the freedom of soul becomes one with Sharanagati to the Supreme Being. This is a choice offered to the human soul by God. So, It should be remembered that God's love is manifested in and through law. Talking about the element of free will, the problem of human freedom is confused somewhat by distinction between the self and the will. The will is only the self on its active side. The freedom of the will really means the freedom of the self. It is determination by the self. However, the range of one's natural freedom of action is not unlimited. So, no man has the universal field of possibilities for himself. One another point to be noted is our demand for freedom must reckon with a universe that is marked by order and regularity, by the dharma, righteousness. Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan gave a beautiful example on this. What he said, life is like a game of bridge. The cards in the game are given to us. We do not select them. They are traced to past karma. But we are free to make any call as we think fit and lead to any suit. Only we are limited by the rules of the game. We are more free when we start the game than later on when the game has developed and our choices become restricted. But till the very end, there is always choice. That should not be forgotten. Man can actively mold the future instead of passively suffering the past. Why? The past may become either an opportunity or an obstacle. Everything in this world depends on what we make of it and not what is makes up us. Factors that interplay with human actions. It is true that for any action to succeed, two factors are needed. Let us find out what are the two factors. One is human efforts, that is called Manushya Prayatna. Second, divine sanction, that means Daivanukulyam. Yes, a man may try, but he may still face forces that oppose the success. Hindu scriptures identify three forces that play a part. Individual actions performed by the person according to his free will, mean Adhyatmika. Actions by other living beings, be they human or non-human, that is called Adi Bhautika. Included in this area, actions by other human beings such as friends, relatives, enemies, or strangers, or government, plants, animals, insects, etc. 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 Why? Intervention by some supernatural forces, that is called Adi Daivika. Now understand? Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adhya, Adi Daivika. These three factors are deciding factors. In this category come acts of nature, acts of gods, unintended cases, etc. In the case of human beings, individual will Adhyatmika plays a predominant role followed by extraneous factors and acts of God. All Veda mantras are conducted by uttering Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti refers to peace and tranquility. During our prayers, we conclude them by uttering Om Shanti 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 3 times. By uttering Shanti 3 times, we are praying for protection from the actions. Great souls find profound peace in the consciousness that the stately order of this world, now lovely and luminous, now dark and terrible, in which man finds his duty and destiny cannot be subdued to known aims. It seems to have a purpose of its own of which we are ignorant. In our relations with human failures, belief in karma inclines us to take a sympathetic attitude and also develop reverence before the mystery of misfortunes. The more understanding we are, the less do we pride ourselves on our superiority. Faith in karma induces in us the mood for true justice or charity, which is the essence of spirituality. We realize how infinitely helpless and frail human beings are. When we look at the wrapped lives of the poor, we see how much the law of karma is true. If they are lazy and criminal, let us ask what chance they had of choosing to be different. They are more unfortunate than wicked. How can the being escape the web of karma? He has to face it. No chance of escaping. How can he get free from the debts of karma? Howsoever the being tries to cut through the trap using his intelligence, he will never succeed. From this earth to the heaven and hell, from human beings to gods and goddesses, all beings bound by their karmas are stuck in the vicious cycle of rebirths, mean birth and deaths, to reap the fruits of their karmas. Fruits reaped in hell are the result of sins. The same fruits reaped in the heaven are the results of the virtuous deeds, punya karma. A being has to endure the consequences of his deeds, whether it be a good or bad. This is the inevitable law made by the Supreme Almighty. Suppose if a being commits 100 good deeds and 50 bad deeds, he gets to live 100 days in prosperity and suffer for the 50 days. The balance is similar, is it not? According to the karma phala. In the Almighty designed accounting system of karmas. As you sow, so shall you reap. That means, yatha karma, tatha phalam. One cannot simply nullify the 50 days of suffering with the 50 days of prosperity. All must confront the days they are accounted for. It is virtuous to deliver peace to others through good speech and actions, and a sin to cause distress to the people. The virtuousness can never kill a sin. Virtues are deposited in the accounts of bad deeds. A being gets trapped in the 84 vicious cycles of births and rebirths as the consequences of his deeds. All beings are graced only by the true master of the contemporary times. To liberate the sleeping and lost souls from the captivity of time, true master incarnates in the human form and also makes them realize the worth of priceless human form in every possible way and makes them fearless to take them to Nijdham, means their true spiritual abode. All the beings who perform good deeds experience the heaven for some time, not for every time, depending upon the balance of his good or bad, which is like wearing golden handcuffs. And those who perform bad deeds experience hell, which is like wearing iron handcuffs. See the difference, gold and iron. In both the cases, the being remains a captive. The true master also states that if we want to achieve the ultimate serene state, then we have to liberate ourselves from the state of imprisonment. Those who engage themselves in selfless services and meditation unshackle themselves from their karmas and realize the freedom, to which His Holiness explained, when a steel utensil was given to you and you were told to go and hit the person with it, you said, he will suffer pain, and that hit the papaya on his head. He did not suffer any injury and he is alright. All the people then ate the papaya and it was sweet too. My son, by surrender at the holy feet of the complete Sadguru, our previous cumbersome karma becomes lighter. Though we cannot escape the consequences, but their severity reduces considerably. As you know, a soul's karmas are as heavy and terrible as the steel utensil, but in the holy company of true master. The burden of these terrible karmas mitigates the consequences. The true master converts them into sweet fruits. He makes us face the consequences but minimalizes our sufferings. Being a worthy and true devotee, one attains the power of endurance. The accounting of previous karmas does not change conforming to the good or bad nature of the karma. Bearing its consequences is obvious and absolute. Dear devotees, always remember this game of consequences of karmas is eternal. Thus, accept it as His Holiness' ultimate will. श्रीयकान्ताय कल्याणनिधयाय दयथिनां श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलं मङ्गलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्यपुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्.